do something for the Royal Jubilee. Some little act of personal celebration.
Why don't they jump? Oh! The world people realise that you're doing this for the Jubilee. Might they not think that you're just hitting him with your hat?
It's ridiculous, really. He's the only one I ever want to hit with my hat. I don't know why, unless it's because I haven't got a brick in my hand.
It's a bit of a drag, isn't it? Coming all the way up here to get your head thumped. It's when you've made the effort and climbed all the way up here, when you see the world laid out beneath your feet, you wonder why you ever left the sandwiches on the kitchen table. Hit him! No! Hard! Hard! Hit him hard! I wonder why they call it plaster of Paris. When I broke my arm, they got mine from a cupboard in Huddersfield. I like it.
What?
Plaster of Huddersfield.
Oh, don't encourage him. Just let him lie there quietly, making all the creepy crawlers go, ugh.
Where would you go if you had money?
To sleep for 5 minutes.
I'd like to see Leningrad.
Leningrad?
What's wrong with Leningrad?
Well, it's in Russia. That's what's wrong with Leningrad. Oh, God, does this mean that all these weeks I've been passing my humbugs to a communist?
Stop leaping about, Foggy. Lie down.
You're taking it very calmly.
Oh, for goodness sake, Compo. Will you reassure him that you have not been passing his humbugs on to Moscow?
Word of honor. Comrade.
Relax, Foggy. You have not been supplying comforts in the field for the forces of the Warsaw Pact.
Get down. Hey, did you know Rasputin came from Chesterfield?
I always think Russia must be rather like living in the cold store of a co-op.
I bet they got their own bigger and better humbugs than your own.
What?
People's Democratic humbugs!
Can you hear that, man?
I should think they could hear you in Moscow, Foggy. I'm trying to get a snooze.
I have no patience with people who deny the superiority of British boiled sweets.
Why Leningrad?
I fancied Stalingrad, really, but they changed the name. I couldn't find it on the map.
Have you been studying maps of Russia?
Down the library. Education is a wonderful thing.
You wouldn't get away with that in Russia, you know. Siberia's full of people who couldn't keep their fingers still.
It's a great language for swearing in. I mean, even muttering Vladivostok in certain pubs round here could get your head invited into a vice-like grip.
Well, the Russians need a great language for swearing in, don't they? They've always had so much worth swearing at.
I went to a council meeting once and asked for a race course. Didn't do me much good, though. I think it's about time we had a revolution.
When Arthur Scargo's got his face on everything except the coinage, don't you think we've had one?
The trouble with these revolutions in the name of freedom is how soon they make it compulsory for everybody.
May I remind you that this is Jubilee year?
What's up with him?
It looks to me like the exit of a man of principle. Righteousness seems to give people this funny walk.
Well, looks like he's gone then. Clutching his own bugs.
I think you've just restructured your image in his eyes. Did I think about that? He used to think of you as scruffy, but politically apathetic.
And how does he see me now?
Vanessa Redgrave.
You cheeky.
Towage! Mushy peaskin! One stick, two stick, three stick.
Yeah, it's all very well starting this Soviet propaganda, but when it comes to the pinch, you can't even do a simple Russian dance. Oh, I was watching you know. And you were making what we in the army used to call in technical parlance a right ricket. And do you know why?
I bet he thinks you can't do it because you weren't self-supporting.
Oh, my knee went.
Of course your knee went. And you know why your knee went in a Russian dance? Because you've got true blue English legs.
Rubbish!
Not rubbish.
What's he talking about?
I think he's trying to tell you that your legs are conservative.
What, both of them? There is nothing about my anatomy that belongs to Maggie Thatcher.
Your legs are English. You may have a head stuffed full of Russian rubbish, but when it comes to the crunch...
And my crunch isn't Tory either.
When it comes to the crunch, you have legs that refuse to be dragooned into any kind of Soviet terpsichore. Your legs are true blue English. Well, it's the duty of every patriotic Englishman in this Jubilee year to offer his services to whatever local celebrations are being planned. Besides, we've nothing else to do.
I was going to bake.
I'm not going to church.
You don't have to go to church.
Then what are we going to see the vicar for?
Well, because he's in charge of several of the local Jubilee events. Oh, smarten yourself up a bit. You look like a second-hand Brillo pad.
I bet we end up in church.
You got a bad conscience?
No.
I bet you wish you'd gone straight home more often now instead of loitering with intent around Audrey Singleton.
Good day, ma'am. We'd like to see the vicar.
That's gracious. Just one moment, and I'll see if there's anything in the call box.
Oh, no, madam. We've come to volunteer our services for the Jubilee in any suitable capacity.
Oh, dear. I'm really more in my element with the Mothers' Union.
Oh, that's got a poor box then, eh? Oh!
Can we just see the vicar, madam?
Yes, do come in where it's warm. Can you manage this cab?
He's in the rudest of health, madam.
Brave little chap. You can wait in here. My husband won't be long. He's a very busy man, you know, and he lost a verger last week. He's such a lot to do. He has someone with him at the moment, a fertilizer representative. Well, I'm sure that's what he said, a fertilizer representative. Brave little chap. There's chairs all round you.
Yes, jolly useful arrangement.
Please, sit down. Let me take your stick.
Thank you.
Hat and
No!
chairs.
Why don't you come and make yourself comfy in this chair?
What's wrong with that one? Sit down. Oh! Oh!
Is he all right?
Oh, he's in fine condition, madam. Yeah.
Oh!
So that's where it's been. Please sit down. It's the Wednesdays I like best. Just a few of them. Gerald really works far too hard. And the roof is always a problem.
Yes.
Oh, have you ever been depressed by a roof?
No,
And of course it becomes more and more difficult to find anyone to ring the bells. No. If it wasn't for Mrs. Crabtree, I really don't know what to do. Oh, so that's where it's been. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. It's the tea and buns, you know. The interminable tea and buns.
come and sit down.
You feel such a fool clutching a strange doorknob. It just leapt into me hand.
It's the internal tea and buns, I know. It's the internal tea and buns, and the vicar's lost his verger. And there's no one to ring me bells. No one at all.
Shut up. Didn't bring you here to show me up. Here, sit down. None of your Leningrad practices here. No.
Sure. Life's a real rave up in the Church of England, isn't it?
I wonder if the churches will go self-service.
What?
Well, everything else has. And all the churches are busy dismantling their history, breaking their necks to find some modern image. But what if it turns out to be a graven image? Now, if I was God, I'd be leaning very heavily on some of these racy modern ideas. And then, of course, if I was God, I wouldn't have a black plastic knife.
I don't believe in it.
Oh, you mustn't say that in here. You heard her on about the roof. That's not going to stop anything.
Look, we're only waiting to see the vicar. Now, you believe in him, don't you?
Ah, well, I seen him.
Isn't it marvellous? Can't believe in the supreme power of the universe, but has no difficulty in believing that his fairy godmother lives behind the counter at the National Assistance.
The old goat. Oops. Now do you believe in him?
That's not him, is it?
Well, he didn't look like anybody from round here.
Oh, it's wearing his sword in a very unsoldierly fashion, I thought.
Ah, that was somebody dressed up.
I bet that's what they all say when they seen some supernatural vision. I bet God gets right fed up of laying on some spectacular event when all he hears is some unimaginative twonk saying, I bet that was somebody all dressed up.
It was an impostor. He didn't carry himself like a military man.
That looked like him from Cooper Street,
Well, I think it was a warning.
wearing his nom de plume.
No, I don't find it at all surprising. Among all the ranks of angels and cherubs that God could cause to appear here in this vicarage, there would very probably be one just like him from Cooper Street,
Rubbish!
wearing his nom de plume.
And singing tie a yellow ribbon round the old oak tree.
Very badly, which is exactly how you'd expect an angel that's suddenly earthbound to sing it.
Earthbound? He sounded eggbound.
Well, I don't know who he was, but I never like to hear a serviceman singing popular songs while in uniform.
He weren't no angel, he said, oops. Who's ever heard an angel saying oops? And it weren't a ghost either, he was solid. I heard him clank when he came in.
That exhibition of his about turn was one of the sloppiest it's ever been my misfortune to witness. Now, whoever he is, the man is a novice in military arts.
Advertising.
I didn't care very much for the lack of shine on his baldrick either.
I bet he were advertising something.
Build your own dungeon.
No, like the Soapy Suds man. I've seen the Soapy Suds man.
It doesn't look as though your neck has for some time. Have you seen it lately? It's filthy.
My neck is that colour naturally.
Well, naturally, if you always give it a miss.
And the Soapy Suds man, he wears these long white silk stockings, you see, and his body is covered in this big box of detergent. I saw him once in Huddersfield.
The Soapy Suds man comes from Huddersfield.
Ah, and when I saw him in Huddersfield, I thought, hello, who's this stupid great twallop? Oh, not you, Vicar.
Oh. You wish to see me? Yes, to offer our services, Padre, in any suitable capacity. For the Jubilee.
Can he?
Oh, have no fear, Padre. No, he's quite sound. He can perform any simple manual task.
Hey, what about my back?
Yes, while I myself am quite willing to accept any amount of supervisory responsibility.
Well, I did hear that there were some defectors from the pageant committee. Could you attend a meeting this evening?
Sorry, it's my domino night. I've just changed my domino night.
I'll have them there, Padre. Leave it to me.
Oh, splendid. Well, that really has rather taken a weight off my shoulders.
You never take me dancing anymore.
You go with Mrs. Thingy.
You always find plenty of time to play golf. You know, you used to do the most lovely volita.
What, will you keep your voice down?
It is down!
Well, it's not down far enough.
Well, would you rather I spoke with a squeaky little voice?
Let me hear it. Try that. I'm not going to rush into any decision as important as that.
Oh, you rotten devil! When are you going to look at me sink?
Anytime you can arrange to sink, love, I'll gladly come and have a look.
You think more of your golf than you do of me, but you'll be sorry.
It won't hurt you to give up an evening.
We don't even know what they want us to do.
It doesn't matter what they want us to do. A volunteer's a volunteer.
Unless, Foggy, he happens to be associated with you, in which case the things that happen to him tend to fall more into the category of conscription.
It's just that it happens to come naturally to me to assume the role of decision-maker.
Lend us a couple of quid, Foggy.
Out of the question.
He made that decision fast enough, didn't he?
Yeah. Well, it looks like the work of the giant golf moth to me.
By Exeter's married a powerful, determined lass.
Don't sit there thinking I'm exceptionally brave.
He's so modest with it.
You hear the old bugle in your charge because everyone else seems to be doing it. Next thing you know, you're married to something not unlike the Herman Gordon division.
I miss the old bugle.
That's all right for you. Your war finished in 45. My beggar were only just started. The lead's still flying. Who's paying?
All right, come on, Queenie, get the purse out. Sid is in no mood for giving credit.
What's the date?
The 4th.
Right, 4 T's at 5p.
He's up again, balancing his budgie.
It's budget, you little goblin, not budgie.
Oh, I prefer it his way, balancing his budgie. I like it. One has visions of the Chancellor of the Exchequer, covered in tiny feathers and little blobs of...
Don't encourage him.
I'm just going round to Mavis's to see if she can fit me in as soon as we close. I shan't be a minute.
Oh, my God, that's done it. She's got to get her hair done.
What's wrong with having her hair done?
It means she's got plans for getting me out. Dancing.
Dancing?
She would. All time. Rotten Velita. Oh, I could just picture it up at the golf club. What are all my mates going to say?
It's true, Sid. If the word gets round that you're doing the Velita, you might as well join Gay Lib.
Don't worry, Sid. Other people dance. Just because that does the Felita, it doesn't mean they're forced to think that you've gone all fluffy handbags. I wouldn't bet on it, though.
Look, why don't you try not shaving for a couple of days and wear a dirty shirt? After all, he's been doing it for years and nobody thinks he's effeminate.
That's true, but I've got a very butch way of moving.
Especially when it's your turn to pay.
No, it's simply he can come with us to help the vicar out. Another volunteer for the Queen's Jubilee celebrations. Even Ivy couldn't drag him away from that. You can't see that Morton's affair. That's got to come now as well.
in at the storeroom. Good. Make sure everything's out of that hole, yeah? I want a clean sweep making that up before the night's out. Where are you going with them chairs? They want to go on the car.
Has anyone seen Mr. Danby's walking?
Just a minute, I'll go with you in a minute. Hang on. Can you keep that down a bit, please? Because we can't hear what we're saying. We can't. Leave those in the yard, will you? And tell Mrs. Templeton we found the string.
Mr. Danby's walking stick.
The string has been found, folks.
Please, everyone, keep your ears peeled for walking stick.
Look, it must have come down. No, it must have come down. No, they'll stay in. Leave them in, look.
Isn't it marvellous? There's always some bossy idiot who tries to take charge. He's obviously got no managerial skill.
Foggy, don't let's have a mutiny before we've even got going. Let's just start at the bottom on this one occasion, shall we?
The new recruits. Thank goodness. Need more people for man of war. Oh, can any of you drive a tractor? Never mind. I'll find you a driver.
What are we doing?
He hasn't a clue.
Well, does it really matter so long as it's for the Queen?
Ready, crew members? Come along, we're late.
Hello, sailor.
Get on! Bring smoke.
What does it matter what we do, he says, as long as it's for the Queen.
Please, can I have Johnny Jack's car?
I think Jolly Jack Tar seems a bit upset, Foggy.
Well, to help him escape from trouble at home, you'd think he'd have a kind word to say.
Well, he was muttering some kind of word.
A nautical expression.
Oh, is it?
That sounded like it.
Can I have the rest of you on the decks and in the rigging? Admiral, could you stand prominently on the front? Bows.
We're not going out in public like this, are we?
It's high, isn't it? I didn't realise that ships were so high.
Oh, look, stop complaining, will you? Come aboard and
Do great unseamanlike swallow.
steady.
I don't rock the boat.
Lydia? What are you doing?
Nothing, dear.
Come over here quickly. You'll have to drive.
Oh, I don't know whether I could, dear. I'd love to try.
Oh, bless you, Lydia. I want you to drive round the corner, and I shall be waiting round there to get the full effect of this little tableau as you come round. it, Lydia. Spot on, old thing. Just give me a second to get round the corner, then wheel them round. After we've had this rehearsal, they can help with our fundraising drive. Go, Lydia. Stand back, Miss Hooper. Navy's on his way. They're coming round now. The old wooden walls, hearts of oak, God bless them. No. I want more of the spirit of Trafalgar.
You know, it must be very hard for vicars' wives to believe in religion. When you're married to the salesman, you tend to learn all the snags in the product.
I wonder what they'll put on my gravestone.
Something very heavy, I think.
How would you like on it?
Somebody else's name.
Mrs. Bradley might be investigating her own death at 9 tonight, but next here on Drama, a vagrant becomes a cuckoo for Sykes.
I'd like to do something for the Royal Jubilee. Some little act of personal celebration.
Why don't they jump?
The world people realise that you're doing this for the Jubilee. Might they not think that you're just hitting him with your hat?
It's ridiculous, really. He's the only one I ever want to hit with my hat. I don't know why, unless it's because I haven't got a brick in my hand.
It's a bit of a drag, isn't it? Coming all the way up here to get your head thumped. It's when you've made the effort and climbed all the way up here. When you see the world laid out beneath your feet, you wonder why you ever left the sandwiches on the kitchen table. Icky! No! Ah! Ah, it's bad! I wonder why they call it plaster of Paris. When I broke my arm, they got mine from a cupboard in Huddersfield.
I like it.
What?
Plaster of Huddersfield.
Oh, don't encourage him. Just let him lie there quietly, making all the creepy crawlers go, ugh.
Where would you go if you had money?
To sleep for 5 minutes.
I'd like to see Leningrad.
Leningrad?
What's wrong with Leningrad?
Well, it's in Russia. That's what's wrong with Leningrad. Oh, God, does this mean that all these weeks I've been passing my humbugs to a communist?
Stop leaping about, Foggy. Lie down.
You're taking it very calmly.
Oh, for goodness sake, Compo. Will you reassure him that you have not been passing his humbugs on to Moscow?
Word of honor. Comrade.
Relax, Foggy. You have not been supplying comforts in the field for the forces of the Warsaw Pact.
Get down. Hey, did you know Rasputin came from Chesterfield?
I always think Russia must be rather like living in the cold store of a co-op.
I bet they got their own bigger and better humbugs any road.
What?
People's Democratic humbugs!
Can you hear that, man?
I should think they could hear you in Moscow, Foggy. I'm trying to get a snooze.
I have no patience with people who deny the superiority of British boiled sweets.
Why Leningrad?
I fancied Stalingrad, really, but they changed the name. I couldn't find it on the map.
Have you been studying maps of Russia?
Down the library. Education is a wonderful thing.
You wouldn't get away with that in Russia, you know. Siberia's full of people who couldn't keep their fingers still.
It's a great language for swearing in. I mean, even muttering Vladivostok in certain pubs round here could get your head invited into a vice-like grip.
Well, the Russians need a great language for swearing in, don't they? They've always had so much worth swearing at.
I went to a council meeting once and asked for a race course. Didn't do me much good, though. I think it's about time we had a revolution.
When Arthur Scargo's got his face on everything except the coinage, don't you think we've had one?
The trouble with these revolutions in the name of freedom is how soon they make it compulsory for everybody.
May I remind you that this is Jubilee year?
What's up with him?
Looks to me like the exit of a man of principle. Righteousness seems to give people this funny walk.
Well, looks like he's gone then. Clutching his own bugs.
I think you've just restructured your image in his eyes.
Did I think about that?
He used to think of you as scruffy, but politically apathetic.
And how does he see me now?
Vanessa Redgrave.
You cheeky.
Towage! Mushy peaskin!
One stick,
Two stick!
three stick.
Yeah, talk about starting this Soviet propaganda, but when it comes to the pinch, you can't even do a simple Russian dance. Oh, I was watching you, you know. And you were making what we in the army used to call in technical parlance a right ricket. And do you know why?
I bet he thinks you can't do it because you weren't self-supporting.
Oh, my knee went.
Of course your knee went. And you know why your knee went in a Russian dance? Because you've got true blue English legs.
What? Rubbish!
Not rubbish.
What's he talking about?
I think he's trying to tell you that your legs are conservative.
What, both of them? There is nothing about my anatomy that belongs to Maggie Thatcher.
Your legs are English. You may have a head stuffed full of Russian rubbish, but when it comes to the crunch...
And my crunch isn't Tory either.
When it comes to the crunch, you have legs that refuse to be dragooned into any kind of Soviet terpsichore. Your legs are true blue English. Well, it's the duty of every patriotic Englishman in this Jubilee year to offer his services to whatever local celebrations are being planned. Besides, we've nothing else to do.
I was going to bake.
I'm not going to church.
You don't have to go to church.
Then what are we going to see the vicar for?
Well, because he's in charge of several of the local Jubilee events. Oh, smarten yourself up a bit. You look like a second-hand Brillo pad.
Yeah, I bet we end up in church.
You got a bad conscience?
No.
I bet you wish you'd gone straight home more often now instead of loitering with intent around Audrey Singleton.
Good day, madam. We'd like to see the vicar.
That's gracious. Just one moment, and I'll see if there's anything in the call box.
Oh, no, madam. We've come to volunteer our services for the Jubilee in Ennis.